Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, it is Thursday. I know Christmas messes us all around with the days, and welcome to another edition, a post-festive edition of the Third and Long podcast. My name is Shane Harris. Above me is our beautiful baby Hope. To my right is the teacher extraordinaire, Mr. Philip Perrins, and in the top corner, Mr. Fine Wine himself, Oliver Butler Henderson. Gentlemen, let me start by saying, hope you all had a nice Christmas and a great Boxing Day, and as I said, Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Well, I hope you had a great Christmas too, Shane, and I'm sure you were pretty happy about 4 a.m. on Boxing Day morning, and then even happier at about 10 p.m. on Boxing Day night.
That was the best part of my Christmas, staying up until quarter to 5 in the morning to watch that game. But I digress. We move on to that later on. Mr. P, how was your festive day?
I enjoyed it until 1:20 in the morning.
I have to admit, I packed it in about 3:30.
Suppose you stayed up that late.
After Zayflower punched it in after Purdy's fourth interception, I was like, no.
It was rough.
It's come as a shock to anyone that knows me. I didn't have one unit of alcohol Christmas Day all day to wake up and watch that game.
Oh, I did. I had a lot.
No, you drink yourself sober. That's when you know you've had a lot.
Okay, I didn't quite have that much.
How was your Christmas, Mr. OBH?
My Christmas was chaotic. So obviously we had Christmas Day morning. So she woke up at about 7. Well, got us up about 7 o'clock. She said she woke up about 6 o'clock. And then the boys got round to us just after 5. So it was manic, but enjoyable. Kids loved it. Been constantly building Lego. Finn showed 2 of them. Here's Hagrid from Harry Potter's Lego.
Hedwig, not Hagrid.
Hedwig, sorry, yeah. So yeah, it's been.
My cousin actually brought up something to me that she wasn't very happy that a certain teacher had been criticizing Star Wars on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Is this your cousin that's Star Wars? That's a teacher as well.
No. I have many cousins.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Star Wars is stupid, and if you actually want to, if you actually want to test yourself, you'll watch Star Trek because it's it's better. But also check out Rebel Moon on Netflix. It's a really, really good film.
Yeah, I've seen that. It is meant to be really good, Rebel Moon, to be fair. I have heard that one. But, yes.
Boys, with Christmas being where it is and games all over the shop, where do you want to start?
I think we should start with your game, boys.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Can we not just start with Thursday night and just move through it? Because I really don't.
That's what I was thinking, but
Christmas.
No, I'll talk about the Niners first to get that out of the way.
Okay, I do have a few things to say. But
Here we go.
Boys, if you want to, you have at it, of course.
I was going to say I'll let Shane take the lead on this one as it was his Ravens.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, here we go.
I would hazard a guess to say that I'm not the only person on this podcast who was smiling Boxing Day morning when they woke up and saw the Niners had their ass handed to them by the best defense in football. Mr. OBH, can I count you as that person?
Yeah, I was more happy about that result than us beating the Broncos.
I know. We'll move on to that. That was hell of a result for yourselves. So the first thing I'll start off with is the fact that Brock Purdy, their next big thing, Brock Purdy, got picked off 4 times. Sam Darnold got picked off as well. We picked off the best team in football 5 times. Absolutely unreal. I mean, as I said, when you were watching that game, you could still see glimpses of how good they are. I was saying to Baby Hope before we went live about the fact that as soon as Brock was getting his passing rhythm to Kittle, and Kittle was breaking off those yak yards, I was thinking, this is going to be a long night. And then as soon as we conceded that safety, I wish those zebras would get out the way. I thought, here we go. It's going to be a comedy of errors. Go on, bud.
I was just saying, I really appreciate the ref putting his body on the line for the Niners there.
That should have been a replay of down.
Yeah,
it should have been.
It should have been because the refs came together and they go, yeah, I fucked up. I tripped him. It needs to be replayed down. But it wasn't. But it didn't cost you anything. So it's all good.
I saw a stat on Twitter as well. Every team that the Niners have lost to this season, bar ourselves, touch wood, hopefully, their starting quarterback has gone down for the season shortly after.
Actually, I saw a different stat on Twitter that said against the NFC, Purdy is 13-1, and against the AFC, Purdy is 3-3.
That is mad. And they were all AFC North matchups.
That means he's not gonna win this. Well, has he got a 50% chance of winning the Super Bowl? Ever. It's yeah. I mean, from a non-biased point of view, it was an interesting result. I haven't fully seen the game yet. I mean, I've been absolutely stacked these last couple of days, so I actually haven't fully seen the game. But I've seen the stats. The passing yardage wasn't brilliant. McCaffrey's the only one who seemed to have stepped up. It was almost as bad as the Raiders' domination of the Mahomes-led Chiefs as well. But we'll get to that in a bit. Mr. Perrins.
I think that is the game that kisses Brock Purdy's chance of being MVP this year out the window. It's gone. As good as the Ravens are and were, and they absolutely destroyed us, I still think that Brock Purdy is a top tier quarterback. One bad game doesn't make a bad play. I mean, how many times have we seen Brady have a bad game? Or Patrick Mahomes had one of the worst games the weekend that I've ever seen him play. Does that make him a bad? No, it doesn't. Yeah. So an off day, and the stat that I told you guys as well, I think it was Boxing Day morning, the 49ers have never won a game on Christmas Day. So it's like, Steve Young lost to the Oilers before they became the Titans on Christmas Day. So it's not like, it's this one-off thing. And if there's a bogey team that the 49ers have, that out of the teams that, we play in the NFL, I don't like playing the Ravens because we don't have a particularly good history against the Ravens. The Super Bowl and last, on Christmas Day being prime examples of that. Baltimore looked really, really good. And I don't foresee us having a bad end to our season because we're still playing for the number one seed. Our remaining games are against Washington, the Cardinals, and did we play the Rams again?
It's just Washington and the Rams.
Washington and the Rams. So I mean, it's not like we've got difficult games to finish off with. I mean, we kind of do beat the Rams every year anyway, and the Commanders are really a bad team. So there's lots to play for still, but I don't want to say like these games happen, but I was devastated on Boxing Day. But upon reflection, I've gone, well, it kind of gives us a little bit more of a fire because if we are to play them again this season, it will be in the Super Bowl. And, 49ers are really good at playing with chips on their shoulder because, when we went down to the Eagles last year in the NFC game and we got embarrassed when Brock Purdy went down, we played them back at, earlier on in the season. We went to Philadelphia and we absolutely battered them. So it's not like the 49ers don't, ever give back receipts. So if we play the Ravens again, I imagine it to be a lot more closer game because we know how they play now this season.
Mr. Hope.
So I've got a few things to say. First off, I don't think the Niners played particularly badly. Like, if you look at yards, we outgained the Ravens in both passing and rushing yards. So yes, Purdy had a bad game, but I don't think many of the other players actually had that bad a game.
Yeah.
Kittle played well. McCaffrey played well. And I looked this up, this stat particularly. Both Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in their career had 6 4+ interception games. Purdy will have these type of games because he does take risks. And this season, there's been a lot of times where maybe he should have been picked off or he could have been picked off and he's thrown the pass correctly. This was just one of those games. I'm interested to see how Purdy responds to this adversity because he's not really had any in his NFL career so far like this. And I think the Niners kind of needed this loss to remind us that we're not world beaters and that the Brock Purdy is not Brock Purdy.
I will say one thing. How good was AFC Defensive Player of the Week, Kyle Hamilton? I would go as far to say, and yeah, maybe this is a bit of Baltimore bias, whatever. I'd go as far to say he's the best safety in the league. He had 2 picks, and he was just played really well. For the first pick, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, he got flattened by a Niners defender, got straight back up, and still managed to pick the ball off.
Yeah.
He's incredible, and there's a reason why he was first round pick for us.
I mean, I watched Kyle Hamilton play when I went to San Francisco and watched Stanford play Notre Dame. And I remember watching this guy. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but this guy is taking over the game on the defense.
Do you remember the profile we did on him a couple of years ago, where he literally, there was one play, he sprinted from one side to the pitch, to the other side of the pitch, just to make the intercept, the pick or the hit.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was.
I think it was a hit.
He is a great player. He is a
I know it's a different position, but he kind of reminds me a bit of Fred Warner. He seems to be everywhere.
Yeah.
I get that. Summarize. You're still 2 very, very good football teams. You're better than any other teams in the league. You're more than likely going to make it to the Super Bowl. So we'll have a rematch then on February 11th, I think it is off top.
This might be a bit of a hot take, but I don't think the Ravens are going to make the Super Bowl. I think they lack playoff experience. I was watching Good Morning Football this morning, and I've not fact-checked this, but I think it was Peter Strager said that they've not won a home playoff game in 10 years.
Well, he's not going to make it up or get it wrong, is he?
He was saying the last time they won a home playoff game was in the Super Bowl one in 2013 when they won. Or was it 2012 when they won the Super Bowl?
It's 2012.
So the
We
AFC
beat the Titans 2 years ago. In the first round of the playoffs, but that was in Nissan Stadium.
That was in Tennessee, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we lost down to the Bills the following week.
So the AFC, you say there's no experience. Bar the Chiefs, there's not a lot of teams. Let's go from Houston up, because I don't think Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are going to make it all Las Vegas now.
But Buffalo will be a tough game though.
If you're a Buffalo, yeah. There isn't a lot of experience in there. There's a lot of inexperienced teams who don't make playoffs very often. So it's going to be an interesting AFC. It's basically who's got the best nerves. The NFC are more stacked. There's more playoff winning teams in the NFC than there is the AFC. But I would be careful of the Lions. I can see the Lions taking that number 1 seed at this rate.
I think the Lions need the number 1 seed, if I'm honest.
I don't think they do. They go to Dallas Sunday morning.
Yeah, and I think they're going to get turned over.
No, I don't think so.
Here's something. I'm not sure.
We'll get to that in a bit because that's been flagged as a prediction game.
Okay, yeah, I have some things to say about the Lions.
I mean,
before we jump over to lead this game and do the next game or the next bit of news or whatever we're doing, I will point out one last thing on this game. Our favourite Ravens thing happened against the Niners, Mr. Oliver Butler Henderson. Do you know what that thing is?
Them winning?
The referee tripped out Lamar?
No. Something that happens quite often now, let's be honest.
Oh,
Shall I tell you?
As usual. Yes, please.
No. I was going to say, there was a touchdown scored by a certain number 4 for the Baltimore Ravens. Boston College's own, and a jersey which I own as well. Cheers, baby hope. Mr. Zay Flowers, the rookie phenom himself.
I might be purchasing a Zay Flowers Boston College jersey when I'm in Boston, I think, next week.
The Ravens one, lad. Come join the bandwagon.
Shout out to Boston College, who won the Fenway Bowl earlier today, beating SMU.
Well done.
I want to talk about the Raiders because the Raiders came to a game plan. I mean, Noah's reaction on Christmas Day is that has it ruined your Christmas? He goes, yes. Those evil Raiders upsetting a 12-year-old boy. but Kansas City were poor. Travis Kelce looked like he didn't want to be there. I mean, if you listen to the New Heights podcast, they were so angry about it. I've never known him so angry. They'd made so many mistakes. You had the snapped fumble, the fumble snap, and then literally the next play after that, the pick by Jack Jones, which was running for a pick 6. But they never got going on the offense at all, apart from the one trick play which led into the touchdown. They were really poor, but Las Vegas was superb. Max Crosby was like there was 4 of him on the pitch.
I mean, I don't feel like I can comment on this because I did not see the game, and I've not had a chance to watch the game since.
Mr. Perrins.
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you around and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won. The Raiders embarrass their rivals. Now, the score in the end was quite close, but at no point, even during a Mahomes final drive in the fourth quarter, did I think that they were going to stop that Raiders defense. Antonio Pierce has gone up and down in a lot of like my valuations as potential head coach candidate, and I think definitely since the team rallying cry from that 3-0 game against Minnesota, and they've just come back and they've just they blew the Chargers out the water. They dominated the Super Bowl champions. They looked really good the weekend, and they're playing really well without their starting quarterback, or the one that they brought in, and they're playing well without their starting running back. They are doing really, really well offensively. Defensively, they are probably, I mean, I don't know where they're ranked in the NFL, but they're terrifying to play against. I know I'm like such a big history buff, but when I think of like the Raiders, I think of those arsehole kind of defenses that they won 3 Super Bowls with in the 70s and the 80s. Like their team is built around defense. That's what the Raiders have always been. Similar to like in Baltimore, you've never been a offensive team. You've built teams off of defenses. Like in the 80s, it was all about the West Coast offense with the 49ers. That was where our bread and butter was. And it's the same in the Belichick, tenure as the Patriots. I never thought as the Patriots of being an offensive weapon. I also how great their defenses were. The amount of times I watched the Patriots win games without scoring more than 20 points offensively is a key to like how great those Belichick defenses. And the Raiders to me are a defensive team, and the fact that the defense is also scoring points against their offense is amazing in itself. And I think going into this, I do think the Raiders need a quarterback. Russell Wilson could be available, but I also think that maybe having a few more better options on that offensive side, i.e. running back, quarterback, I think they're pretty set in other positions. But that defense, man, I love it. I love watching it. As much as I love watching the San Francisco defense, I really love watching Max Crosby. I love Max Crosby. What a legend. Can't rap, but what a great defensive player.
So we had a phrase on the defensive side of the ball I played for Black Knights was called see ball run. In other words, it doesn't matter where that ball is, you go to it and you hit them as hard as you can. And that's what it seems like with them. They will get to that ball as quick as they can and hit that play as hard as they can. That's what it's like with the watching like with the Raiders. It's fantastic to watch. Absolutely fantastic. Baby Hope. Dolphins.
Yes, Dolphins, Cowboys. So I hope our friend Andy Davis enjoyed his Christmas after this win for the Dolphins. Now, a lot of people, myself included, thought this was going to be a bit of an offensive shootout. However, that was not the case, and it ended up being a bit of a field goal shootout.
A very good defensive game.
Yeah, 2 of the best kickers in the NFL. I mean, Jason Sanders drilling 3 from 50 plus put him in contention for Player of the Week for me. And then, I mean, Dak probably. I mean, everyone was raving about Dak's touchdown drive. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, it was such a good drive." I swear, Purdy does it every week.
Yeah. But we're not allowed to say that because Brock Purdy was drafted 7th as a 7th rounder as Mr. Irrelevant. He's not allowed to be called
Here
good.
we go.
Like
Yeah,
they're all
but don't
like,
forget, Dak was a 4th rounder.
yeah, they're all like,
He
Exactly.
wasn't even early. He was late 4th round.
they're,
Yeah, but he
they're,
plays
they're
for
like,
them Cowboys, so it doesn't matter.
they were like, oh my god, he drove the ball 84 yards in 15 plays. I'm like, yeah, Purdy does that every week.
And Purdy can do it
Yeah,
in
Brock
3.
does that with the best offense in football every week with his eyes closed. Aye.
We still did score touchdowns against you, Shane.
No, I'm not saying you didn't. And that's the MC run was obviously death, taxes, CMC scoring. 3 absolute certainties in life.
So my point is, Dak is a good quarterback, but he is not MVP level.
No,
But
not even close.
but the thing is, if Miami hadn't have had that drive to score the field goal, everyone would be like, "This is Dak's moment. He pulled the Cowboys from the abyss to win." And I'm like, no, he just played quarterback well.
I think it was a good defensive game to watch. The linebackers on both sides were brilliant. Micah Parsons was being at his very best as getting in there. Jalen Waddle looks like he's done possibly for the regular season with a high ankle sprain. He limped off. Tyreek didn't look as at his best.
Well, I think he was still
luckily, the Dolphins could drop to number 3 seed if the Browns results go their way and Dolphins go their way.
I think the Dolphins are going to go and beat the Ravens this week.
That was my next question. I know this game is not allowed to be part of the pick'ems for later on the show because it's one of our teams. But now we've got the answer from Baby Hope. He thinks Tua's gonna trump the Ravens. What do you think, Mr. OBH? Do you think the Ravens are going to beat the Dolphins or the other way around?
Remember, he has a Tua vendetta, so it's obvious.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
I'll take that hat off because I don't have a Tua vendetta.
You do,
I just don't think he's as good as a quarterback as you guys think he is. You will win. Ravens will beat the Dolphins. Dolphins have only beat the only team they've beaten over 500 was Dallas Cowboys, and Dallas Cowboys haven't beaten anyone over 500 this season. So
apart from the Eagles.
Apart from the Eagles, yeah. But does that make Dallas
numbers
Cowboys
don't lie.
a good team?
Yeah,
Don't
look
lie.
at their
Mr. P, what do you
record.
reckon?
I think your secondary can keep up with Tyreek Hill. You've only got Tyreek Hill to mark now. Sorry, Phil.
No, it's fine. I
Sorry,
have to sit on the fence on this one. I can't give an answer. Sorry. Can't give an answer.
Hey, come on, toss a coin. Come on. People pay for your opinions on the show.
It's funny you say toss a coin because I do think it's a coin flip game.
It could be down to whoever has the ball last. Miami's run defense isn't that good.
Is it in Baltimore?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that might actually change my opinion now.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go Dolphins.
No.
I'm gonna go Dolphins.
We can't go around. We can't round up the rest of the games without Mason Christmas Rudolph or the Red-Nosed Rudolph having a game and a half, turning into prime Tom Brady. Oh my God!
What was that about?
And George Pickens as well. Where's that George Pickens been all season? 196 yards and 4 touchdowns. He scored 40 fantasy points. No, sorry, 35 as Amari Cooper scored 40.
I think Amari Cooper scored 50 actually.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, last time I checked, it was 40.
Well, you know what they say, even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
Yeah. Amari Cooper's 285 reception yards is a franchise record for the Cleveland Browns. Well.
I was going to get to that when we talk about Player of the Week.
Sorry, should we do Player of the Week now?
Well, I think we should at least round up the other games first.
Finish your games off first, yeah.
Over to you then, mate.
Okay, fine. So on Thursday, the Rams beat the Saints to keep their wildcard dream alive, 30-22. We've talked about the Steelers dismantling the Bengals, a bit like what Brighton were doing to Spurs in the first half.
Ha!
Bills squeaked past the Chargers in actually quite a good game to watch. Browns Flacco is proving like he could actually win the AFC, which again they were talking about this morning on Good Morning Football as they beat the CJ Stroudless Texans.
Imagine if
Joe,
it's a
stop
Browns
being so
Ravens.
good, Joe.
Imagine if it's a Browns
Stop being
Ravens
so good.
AFC Championship.
No, I don't want to imagine it. I don't want to be January, Joe.
The Commanders Jets was kind of a weird game because the Jets went up. Was it 28-0? 28-3?
Yeah, they were dominant.
There's plenty of points in it.
Yeah.
Good for the
28
neutral.
And then the Commanders brought it back, and Ollie said it finished 30-28, but I actually think it finished 33-30.
It was, yeah. No, 28. It was 30. Jets won 30 points to 28.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
also
So
caused
corrected then.
Sam Howell to be benched.
Yes. For Jacoby Brissett, who is a serviceable quarterback.
Yes.
Yes, and I bang that drum a lot. Jacoby Brissett can easily start for a franchise in this league, 100%.
So I'm really gutted we didn't do a Monday show this week because the Falcons proved that Gardner Minshew
Oh no!
is a bad quarterback as they beat the Colts 29-10. Packers.
Do you have any? Do you have a little history lesson on this one?
Go on then.
Okay.
Phil, are you alive?
Yeah, sorry, go on. I hope you keep going. I'm listening.
You mentioned something on Twitter that it will be covered this evening. On the pod.
Yes. Sorry.
There you go.
I thought we were still talking about the Packers. Which I realize nobody wants to listen to. So, on this day, gents, baby, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Christ.
So you're not old enough to remember what happened 26 years ago to this very day. Do you know what happened 26 years ago on this day? No. Well, actually, you might be born from the orgasmic explosion that happened.
Oh my God! Please don't.
So
for a seismic shift.
So basically, gents, let me. There was a force in the 90s called the NWO, and they had taken over. Look, I can see Baby right now. He's already switched over to the football. He's already looking to cash out. No, Sting captured the WCW championship against the evil Hollywood Hogan at Starrcade 26 years ago. The match was fairly meh, but it was kind of like a culmination of what happened on WCW television for about 8 months. And Sting, being the WCW hero, dressed like the Crow, the Brandon Lee film from the early 90s, defeated the evil. It's a great film. It's one of my favorite. It's actually number one on my top 10 gothic films. Great soundtrack as well. Oh my God, the soundtrack.
Mr. Parents is a cinephile as well.
I'm a massive cinephile. That's cinephile, by the way, just for anyone that's heard me.
Not Cinnabon. Not
Cinnabon, no. You say that.
Yeah. So yes.
So I guess the point you're making, even the mighty Hollywood Hulk Hogan can lose once in a while, which brings us neatly back to the hammering that the Falcons put on the Colts. Was it Thursday? No, when was it? Was it Sunday?
Yeah,
Sunday. So what you're saying is the point you're making had absolutely nothing to do with NFL.
No,
any excuse.
I'm basically saying
any excuse.
that even legends, even icons, can take a knee or drop the leg every now and then and not get what they need. They don't need don't get the 3 count or the W. So even though brother Minshew didn't actually win that weekend, it's okay because he's just gonna mince you up. Okay, he's gonna take his vitamins. He's gonna say his prayers, brother. He's gonna literally take those 24-inch pythons, and he's gonna sling the rock.
Just out of interest, Phil.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win this weekend, Raiders or Colts?
Yeah, I just looked at it. It's as well.
It's actually one of the games, by the way.
Okay.
I think it's going to win? America.
Football.
Yeah, football's going to win.
The red, white, blue.
The game's
Sorry
going to
about that.
win, okay? We're going to literally see a clash of titans, something that we haven't seen since Andre versus Hogan at WrestleMania 3. This is bigger than Montana versus Marino. This is more impactful than Manning against Breeze. We've got Minshew avoiding Crosby. That
Oh, done.
And about as irrelevant as Commanders versus Jets.
You say that, though.
You make a drab game sound so sexy.
Hold on a second. Commanders. Wait, who are the Jets playing? No, the Jets are playing the Browns.
They just played the Commanders last week.
Yeah, I'm looking at next week. But next, well, I mean, it's not one of the games anyway. But we're going to have Seaman all over Cleveland, Ohio.
Go on.
You know Trevor Seaman.
Sorry. My apologies. My apologies for his mispronunciation. It's Trevor Simeon.
It's Trevor Seaman, and he's going to be all over those Browns. Speaking of Seaman, that's all over the Browns. Nobody noticed that Deshaun hasn't been in the stadium recently. That Flacco is playing that well that it's making people forget that the Browns started the season with a sex offender.
Anyway, I'll come back to the real world and
we'll circle back to
that. Packers beat the Panthers. Lions beat the Vikings in a very big game. Bucks beat the Jags in the battle for Florida. And I just need the other games to come round.
While you're waiting for that, the Lions have now won the NFC North for the first time in 30 years. That's their first championship.
Last time they've done, Baby Hope was a glint in his daddy's eye.
Wasn't even that.
No.
I was alive.
What, 30 years ago?
I thought it was 20 years.
30.
93.
Bears beat the Cardinals.
He's alive. He was just in a nice warm place.
Bears beat the Cardinals. Dolphins, as we mentioned, beat the Cowboys. Patriots beat the Broncos. Ollie, do you want to talk about this?
Zappy got it done. And Chad
Ryland
missed one from 39 yards, just smacked one straight down the middle with about 5 yards left to spare from 56 yards. So work that one out. No, to be fair, I didn't say to watch it because I was absolutely Pete-tonged and I didn't want it to ruin my Christmas. So, yeah, I mean, I've seen people going, we should have been tanking. We can't even tank properly. Football players do not want to lose football matches, and it shows. No Hunter Henry, no Jabril Peppers, yet we still got the win. We've managed to bench Russell Wilson for the rest of the season. Happy days.
And then I think the only other game we haven't talked about is the Eagles just about getting it done against the Giants.
Tommy DeVito now benched. So we're going into week 17 with 6 on the 63rd QB of the year. There's been 63 different QBs starting this year. The record's 68, which was set last year.
Ooh.
Yep. Okay,
so shows a lack of patience.
Shall we move on to Player of the Week and Rookie of the Week?
Yeah, and Plays of the Week. So me first one for Plays of the Week would be Mr. Perrin, and I can't remember who.
Yep, I can't remember who I picked either, so we're just gonna fill the air for a little bit until somebody remembers.
I'm going down to it. It was Jack Jones.
Jack, my boy, JJ. Oh my God, he embarrassed Paddy Mahomes. That's right, Paddy. You against the Raiders. What a pick! What a fantastic play! What a dominant game. Vote for him.
Baby Hope, Amari Cooper.
Did he not win?
Nope.
Amari Cooper set records and still didn't win. So against the Texans, it was 11 receptions, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which was a record for receiving yards for the Cleveland Browns. Him and Flacco seemed to have some connection that he didn't seem to have with the multiple other quarterbacks they've had this year. But Cooper, last 2 weeks, is absolutely balling with 2 100-yard gains in a row.
So, I went for Kirby Jones, who had 9 tackles, 6 of them solo, 2 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions. The secondary was superb for the Detroit Lions, and this defense is coming to play now. Melifanyu had a couple of picks as well. They are becoming an incredibly good secondary and a good linebacking core. They're going to be a real difficult team to play against. The winning player for the players of the season was Mr. Harris's
Joe Flacco, Esquire. If I had my way, I would have picked the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, Kyle Hamilton, for his incredible performance against the Niners. But I also picked somebody with strong ties to Baltimore, as Joe Flacco does. Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco, 27 for 42 with 368 yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns, but he also got 2 picks. But again, we all can't be perfect. But like Baby Hope said, and I'm strongly starting to agree with this now, that connection with Amari Cooper is almost telepathic. They are fantastic together. You'd swear they've been playing together for a long time. But also, if Joe can stop winning games now and sort of remember what colour his blood really is, that would be great.
Mr. Perrin, your linebacker from Baltimore for Rookie of the Week.
Yeah. Fred Warner said on his podcast that he was really, really impressed with the linebacker core from the Ravens. And he said, talent recognizes talent, and they were absolutely dominant on putting the pressure on our offensive unit. And I was really, really impressed. I can't remember his name. It was...
Yeah.
Rookie linebacker.
Diaby in it.
Yeah.
Diaby.
He was really, really good. He had a standard game. I hadn't really seen much of him this season until he popped up on a bit of a highlight reel. And again, because I listened to Fred Warner's podcast with his wife, he's really, really insightful, and he was really mellow about the game. But when he was talking about the linebacker core, he was really buzzing about him. So if he's good enough for Fred, I'm wearing the jersey. I don't know why I'm just trying to show it on a medium that I'm wearing the Fred Warner jersey that Mr. Butler Henderson purchased for me for Christmas. So when talent recognizes talent, you got to go with that.
And in return, you got him a Tebow jersey.
Yes.
Yeah, talent recognizes talent.
Yeah, where's his Tebow jersey?
Yeah, where is this Tebow jersey? Is Kel's wearing it?
It's lovely.
It wouldn't fit. You wouldn't get over Kel's boots. You wouldn't get over her boots.
No comment.
Why
No
are you
comment.
wearing
Not
it,
getting
Junior?
involved. Yeah.
I'm actually devastated that you're not wearing it.
Yeah, it's happily hanging up in my wardrobe.
He's not even took the tags off, ladies and gents. Like it's actually
He's ungrateful.
Mr. Harris.
Do you know what, Shane? You're absolutely right. Ungrateful wretch.
That's terrible.
Mr. Harris, you took the 34th pick overall in the in this year's draft.
I did. I went with the Detroit Lions' own Brian Branch, who had a fantastic game against the Vikings. 1 forced fumble, 1 pick as well, and 5 tackles. And I thought he played really well. Fair play. This Vikings team isn't what it could have been at the beginning of the season. But then when you're dealing with the likes of Justin Jefferson anytime, if you have a good game and you're a standout and people report on the fact that you're a standout, not just you believe it, but everyone else does, you've had a good game. So yeah, as I said, I went with Brian Branch.
Yeah.
So just quickly, Sade has come up asking, how was your guys' Christmases? So
Sade, what's up, man?
We didn't mention at the start of the show, but I had a very good Christmas.
Walk on, Sade.
Yeah, it was a good Christmas. Thank you very much. Baby Hope, you took a wide receiver from Baltimore.
Yes, I did. I took Zay Flowers. As I said earlier, I've not seen that many games this week, so my choice was sort of limited. But I did choose Zay Flowers, who had 72 receptions, 72 yards, 9 receptions, and 1 TD, and looked very good against the Niners defense that was interesting.
I pick Zay Flowers every week if I could. What a guy.
Yeah, so I've gone with probably who is probably second favourite for the offensive rookie of the year. 164 yards with 9 receptions and 1 TD. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the flesh in MetLife on Sunday against the Giants. It is Aliran Puka Nakua.
Can't believe you go in Sunday.
Yeah, man. I fly out for Saturday morning to New York. I am spending New Year's Eve in MetLife watching a couple of football teams, which I'm actually looking forward to, actually. So, yeah, it's going to be really good.
I really hope the Giants win.
No, I think it's going to be a Rams win.
I think it'll be a Rams win. I just hope the Giants win.
I'd
Will
love
you be
to
doing
go and see
another
Tom.
vlog? Your last one went down so
being
well.
benched as well, so Tyrod Taylor's starting as well.
Yeah, can we be expecting a vlog on the YouTube channel?
Yep.
Ooh,
His last one,
interesting.
the last one from Germany was brilliant.
So, people who are listening, if you're out there, any New York Giant fans out listening to us, I will be part of I'm going into the Big Blue barbecue tailgating section. So if anyone knows who the players are going to be this week, because there is every New Year's game, they have some old players going in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Mate, you'll see my massive flag. I will be taking the flag with me.
Yeah, boy.
That corner there.
Yes.
Turn long worldwide.
So yeah, come and say hello, and let's have a little chat and let's get to know you guys, and it'd be great to have some more people listening in across the world.
We've got another
get a selfie with him.
Saying, did you have Christmas dinners? If so, what's your favorite thing in a Christmas
Pigs in
dinner?
blankets.
Good question.
For me, it's got to be pigs in blankets.
It's got to be the stuffing. I love stuffing. Like, oh my god, I would just eat stuffing.
The jokes write themselves. The jokes write themselves.
No, I'm not even joking. I'm literally. Oh, just hush, Sade. Actually, Sade, what's your favorite thing about Christmas dinner? Because I do no stuffing and gravy. You can't beat stuffing gravy. And Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts.
I was going to say, boys, my favorite thing on a Christmas dinner is everything. Just none of those little pea things. F that. Yeah. Everything else, just the more the better. Fantastic.
Baby Hope, run VT.
Henry looking to throw it. Wide open. Touchdown. Okonkwo. Derrick Henry's second. Comes in motion. High snap through Hurt's hands. Able to get to it. Able to throw it. And they're going to get a first down out of it. It's Grant Calcaterra's first catch of the season. Just like they drew it up.
It's a 2-point Lions lead instead of a 3-point Lions lead. 4th and 8, and oh no!
And look at Muse's body to ward him off as well. Both feet down at the time. Brace Joe Flacco quicker than Unk did, because now they weren't calling him Unk, they were calling Joe Grandpa.
Kickoff, Hopkins to Pierce. Still going. Pierce. Texans need it. Does Pierce have enough gas? He does! Touchdown, Houston! 98 yards on the run back.
I actually forgot. Oh, gone.
So we had Derrick Henry's touchdown throw. We had Jalen Hurts somehow saving what should have been a turnover, turning into a first down. Amari Cooper's ridiculous toe tap drag swag, whatever you want to call it, and then Damian Pierce's 98-yard kickoff return. Mr. Perrins.
A couple of things. One, I completely forgot that Davis Mills played for the Texans. Like, until that shot there. I don't think that's necessarily all on Jalen Hurts for that particular play, because was it Calcaterra 81 for the Eagles? I think he makes that work. Yes, it was the botch snap, but if you throw it if you see how Jalen Hurts actually threw it to him, it wasn't spiraled. It was almost just like a yeet, because it could have gone anywhere. And I think when he catches it, he managed to juke. He managed to do a little bit of the shake and bake, and he enables to get the ball into like positive yardage. But like, I think that's more on him as opposed to Jalen Hurts.
Just quickly, Phil, we got an answer from Sade saying her favourite bits of Christmas dinner is pigs in blankets and stuffing in blankets.
Oh, is that when the stuff
Stuffing in blankets? Oh, well, yes, maybe. That sounds nice.
That sounds well banging.
So I was looking
at just quickly.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, who won Rookie of the Week? Who won a Rookie of the Week?
Puka.
Oh, okay. Sorry, continue.
Oh, I hate Puka.
Whoever's the last one wins the week. So that was Derrick Henry's 4th passing touchdown in his career, his 2nd of the season.
Yeah, well, I think it works out well because no team want him to get ahead of steam because he will just run you over. So they all flock to the ball, which leaves the receivers more open. So I think sometimes they do run a bit of a almost run pass option with Derrick Henry.
He does also turn in the Wildcat quite a lot as well, and the Wildcat on his own there, which is great. So we had a bit of breaking news yesterday while I was at Glow Golf, which was a great laugh.
Glow Golf? What's that? Explain to our audience at home what that is.
Yes, please.
Glow Golf is crazy golf in the dark with glow-in-the-dark golf balls, mate. It's great.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a third and long team building exercise one time.
Oh, yes. And so this broke, so I didn't actually see it. The Broncos have benched Russell Wilson for the last 2 games. Reason is, if he's injured or gets injured and fails his medical, he's then owed $85 million. He's guaranteed $35 million anyway. So the reason is that back in October, after they beat the Chiefs, or a couple of days after they beat the Chiefs, they asked him to renegotiate his contract, to take out this injury clause, and he was like, no. And they threatened him with this benching. We are now at week 17, and he is now being benched for the remaining of the season to stop him getting injured, stop him risking them having a massive cap nightmare in a few weeks or in a few months' time. Baby.
Here's my issue with this. They say it's because of this. Surely, if it was solely because of this, they wouldn't have him as their second string quarterback, which they do. Because if anything happens to Jarrett Stidham, he's back in the firing line.
True.
Which
I get that.
Makes me think that maybe there's more to it than just that.
Well, we all saw against Detroit Lions, literally him in his face screaming at him for the false start on the O-lineman. The O-lineman weren't in the perfect line, so he was done for false start, which I think is a bit harsh on Russell Wilson. And Sean Payton's been ridiculed for doing that, saying it shouldn't do it wasn't on Wilson and all that, which is fair enough. But how much of this is Sean Payton going, you're an issue, I don't like the way you're doing this, or is this how much of Russell Wilson playing badly? Because Russell Wilson hasn't been playing badly. Or is this just Russell Wilson being a greedy fucker?
You say that, but they are 25th in passing yards this season.
True. Mr. Perez.
Can it not be all three? I really don't like Sean Payton anyway. I mean, he's shown a few times this year that he is not a particularly decent guy when he was throwing shade at previous management at the Denver Broncos. And again, history of being involved and banned for his etiquette behind the scenes as well. To me, the perfect archetype quarterback for Sean Payton is Drew Brees, because that is the only quarterback that Sean Payton has had any success with in his coaching career. So he wants that pocket presence, gunslinging kind of like arm. That's what he wants. Russell Wilson is not that type of guy. He's always been a scrambler. And as he's gotten older, I don't know whether or not it's slight ego, slight, I know what I'm doing better than you kind of attitude. Because again, there was reports last season that Russell Wilson isn't particularly a popular person in that organization. There was lots of reports last year that we covered on the show about him throwing a house party that no one turned up to. And just things of that nature where he wasn't a particularly popular person in that locker room. So he hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been amazing. In fact, if anything, what the Broncos are paying him, well, it's not being seen as replicated on the playing field every Sunday. So even though he's not been playing badly, he's also not playing at the same level of Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Purdy, Jalen Hurts, like all these top tier quarterbacks. He's not playing anywhere near them. And like what you said, the 25th offensively or passage yards, Hopi.
Yes, 25th in passing yards.
I mean, again, he's on a ridiculous amount of money. At one point, he was the highest paid quarterback in history. When he negotiated his contract. Broncos in any form of return. So I think, and I've been saying this in our little WhatsApp group anyway, I think this is potentially avoiding, the Broncos paying out a lot of money for him, but also maybe they've made up their mind that we're not going to go with Russell next year. We're going to look to move on, and I think there's going to be teams that they're going to try and ship him out to. Maybe take a cap hit, maybe not get what they want in terms of draft, but I think the Broncos are going to want to move on from Russell Wilson. I don't think Sean Payton wants him.
Where's he going?
I think he may end up in New England.
I don't.
Oh, would you be happy with that?
No. I don't want...
I see him at Atlanta. There's been a lot of buzz about how his preference is Atlanta.
I don't see him anywhere New England. He's got an 85 million dead cap hit if they cut him. They need to find a trade for him or work something with him to get it better. Because if not, Denver are a serious creek without a paddle. Almost as bad as Cleveland Browns are. Almost as bad as Cleveland Browns, and no one's bad as that. Mm-hmm. I do agree. I think it's going to be either Atlanta or maybe Las Vegas.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I don't think the Raiders have the cap. I don't. I when I was thinking about that, well, this reminder that I thought about that, I still don't think the Raiders have the cap space. I know the cap is going up next year anyway, but I think the Raiders have a lot of players that are on a lot of money anyway.
John's thinking about what he thinks about that.
John,
no thanks.
John, in terms of free agent quarterbacks, who do you think? Because obviously Jimmy will be out here, and if you're being honest, Aiden O'Connell is not the answer. He's just not. I like him, but he's not the answer. Who would you like to see under center next year? Just as I mean, you don't have to necessarily respond now. You can put it on our socials or save it for next week. But I don't see. Well, no, because we've seen this before. We've seen players swap divisions before. That's not unheard of in the NFL. I just don't see him in Las Vegas because I don't think they can afford him. I could be wrong, but I don't think they can.
I've got an idea. What if he went back to Seattle in a trade for Geno?
I don't think Seattle wants him.
Yeah,
Seattle are done with him.
Yeah, because they fell out because that was the whole thing. I mean, Richard Sherman's alluded to it that it was like a fallout between the three of them. That the Legion of Boom got really, really vexed with Pete Carroll because Pete Carroll would give Russell Wilson a lot of leeway when it came to public relations and making mistakes. He would come hard down on them, but he would be soft to Russell Wilson. So then when Richard Sherman left, he came to San Francisco. You had that Pete Carroll-Russell Wilson relationship, and that went soured because Carroll fell out with Russell Wilson. So I don't think, yes, he won his ring in Seattle, but I don't think he's loved in Seattle.
The bridge is burnt, like I suppose.
Yeah, I don't even think over time it could possibly mend, but I think that chapter's closed. Again, I think it's just because he's such a... I don't want to say a weird guy because I don't know him, but like when you listen to how
divisive
people
figure,
talk
maybe?
about him, yeah, because I think he's slightly goofy. I don't think he's very personable, and I think because he's got that A-list Hollywood wife, He's kind of more leans into the celebrity more so than the sports star. And again, I just don't know where he would fit in. Like he just doesn't seem like a player that wants to be a part of a group, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's because sometimes you do get those superstars that I play for you, you're my employer, but I'm not a part of the team. Like I'm my own person. Jimmy Garoppolo's like that. He was like that in San Francisco, and he's like that in Vegas. He just turns up on a Sunday, and when in the off season, you won't hear from him. You know, he's not the type of person that wants to bond with his teammates. And I get that vibe of Russell Wilson. He doesn't seem to me like someone that wants to be invested with someone like a Max Crosby, who lives, breathes, and dies for the Raiders. Devontae Adams loves, playing in a team environment. Like, I don't think, so there's certain teams where you have to live that culture. In San Francisco, you have to live in that culture. Baltimore, you have to live in that culture. The Raiders, if you're going to be a true Raider, you have to live in that culture. I don't think Russell Wilson is going to be in those teams where he's going to have to commit personally and emotionally.
Maybe.
So let me ask this question to all of you. Do you think there is a possibility next year that Russell Wilson does not start for any of the 32 NFL franchises in the first game of the 2024 season?
I think it depends on, because I don't know whether or not he would have a trade clause, because that's become popular in the last couple of seasons. Certain players having trade clauses, i.e., you can't trade me without my permission, or I have final say on where I go. Unless the Broncos are willing just to cut him and give him that dead money and he retires early, whatever. If they cut him, I don't see him going into broadcasting. So when he is done, he is probably done with football. But there's going to be teams that if he's available in the NFL, like I said, there'll be teams in the offseason. The Raiders could be one of them, unlikely. But I mean, you've got the Falcons, you potentially might have the Titans, you potentially might have the Giants, you potentially might have New England. I mean, I say potentially, Hendo, I don't think it's the case. I agree with you. But there's going to be teams that are going to be like, well, we could, Pittsburgh. Like, there'll be teams that will need a quarterback or someone that can step in. And I think it might just come down to his own arrogance I'm not playing for the Falcons. I'm not
the
going
team
there.
with the most cap space available going next season, Washington. 88, well, nearly 89 million, just shy of 89 million.
And I think Howell has not been the answer. He's not the answer. And that could be an option. Could be an option. Spends a couple of years, spends the remainder of his contracts in Washington as a commander.
What other news are we covering this weekend?
Another piece of news that dropped yesterday. Green Bay Packers superstar cornerback Jair Alexander has been suspended for one game by the organization. Baby Hope, you look like you know more than me. Do you want to fill the audience in on the reason for his suspension?
It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. So the reason he's been suspended is because he went and did the coin toss. It was against the Lions. It was
because it was his home state
against Carolina, and he's not a team captain, so he's not allowed to do that. And because of that, he has been suspended. Like, you know the rules, so just don't break them. Like, it's not that big a thing to go and call the coin toss. Like, it's hardly game changing. Quickly, Spencer Beer said, "What's up, guys? Yours podcast make your day. Love you all." Well,
thank you, Spencer.
Oh,
what a nice guy.
Thank you very much. That's a lovely thing to hear of.
It's
a silly mistake to make, isn't it? To be fair, it really is.
I'm not sure it's a mistake. Is it a mistake? It's just, I think it's just Jair Alexander being massively arrogant.
Yeah. Bit of breaking news coming in. CJ Stroud's cleared to play this weekend.
That changes a lot of things.
Yeah, so that makes them a little bit more interesting. The Vikings are going for their fifth quarterback this year. with Jalen Hall starting in a must-win game. That's a big one. Any other ones I missed? I can't think of any others off the top of my head. No. Let's roll on to our prediction games, which was chosen by our teacher extraordinaire below me, sat down there, which was Mr. Perrins. After the Christmas schedule, Mr. Harris is drawn level with myself with 44. Perrins, you are now 2 behind on Ollie, who's on 39. You are on 37, my friend.
Yep, I'm gonna make the deficit.
Go on,
so,
then.
as usual, when it comes to my prediction week, I like to pick games that are very, very difficult to call. Often teams that have similar of the exact same standings, and again, we're at the point where we're the money side of the season where teams actually are playing for playoff positions and seeding. So the first game on my schedule is the Detroit Lions against the Dallas Cowboys. Gentlemen, let's start with our Welsh wizard, Mr. Harris.
Cheers, bud. Thank you very much. Well, I've told the boys already in our WhatsApp group, and I'll tell the viewers at home and the listeners at home. I was gifted the new RoboCop game for Christmas on the Xbox, and it is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I would quite happily advise people to go out and run out and buy it, so you can see where my predictions go in this week. I'm going to go with the son of Detroit, RoboCop's favorite team, the Detroit Lions.
Wait,
Romo creep.
Murphy wasn't from Detroit, mate. He transferred there.
Metro West, I know.
Axel Foley's a Detroit boy.
Well, his favorite team as well, then.
All right, then, baby.
So I can't remember whether I said this on the podcast before, but I alluded to it earlier today when I said the Lions need the number 1 seed. I think that's because they'll get beat if they go to Philadelphia, San Francisco, or Dallas. And they're going to Dallas this week, so I'm taking, I don't like to say this, but the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Hendo?
So Dan Campbell was on 09 in the 0-16 Detroit Lions team. 2 years later, he retired. 07, sorry, and 2 years later, retired in 09. He's got that team running through bricks. He knows what that fan base means. Dallas haven't beaten a good team, but the Eagles. They struggle against good teams. They struggle against teams with a good run offense, which this team does have, with 2 very good run teams. I'm going for Detroit to win.
I'm going to go with Detroit because as a 49ers fan, I never want the Cowboys to win, ever. And again, Cowboys, I love momentum. And when I talk about some of my other predictions a little bit later on, I think Dallas Cowboys, the loss against the Dolphins, and I just think the Lions have the bigger momentum going into this game. And we're about to see like the annual Dallas Cowboys crumble under pressure. It's just going to happen a little bit quicker. Yeah. All right, then. My next game on the list. I wanted to pick it, but now I've regretted picking it because I'm going to be very, very torn. So we have the Las Vegas Silver and Black, the evil empire of the Raiders, taking on the good-looking, all-American boy-led Gardner Minshew the second's Indianapolis Colts. Let's start with Baby Boy. Baby, who are you picking?
Do you even need to ask?
Indy,
yes, that's why,
The one time I put my faith in the Colts and put them in my accumulator and predicted them to win, they lost to the Falcons.
He believes in Mitchell-mania.
I'm going Las Vegas all the way.
Okay, then. Mr. Harris?
This reminds me of, and Phil, you know all about this, the epic clash at WrestleMania between Hulk Hogan and The Rock, where there was 2 main event stars, 2 huge egos, a massive, massive contest, which were watched by millions and millions around the world.
And millions.
And The Rock got the Duke that night. So I think I'm going to have to go with Hogan winning in the rematch, Minshew Mania all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I see this game as the same year, Shayna, bear with me, where there was an up-and-comer who was labeled as the next big thing, and he
Oh, I know
faced
that guy.
Hulk Hogan on a match on SmackDown where it wasn't really a contest. You want Hogan to stay in the game, but Brock Lesnar just beat the living daylights out of him, and in the
It
end,
was a
there was
walkover.
one winner. So, as much as it pains me to say it, I feel that the silver and black attack of the Las Vegas Raiders are going to get the job done. Just.
You disgust me.
Hendo, what about you, mate?
You disgust.
Look at him.
See, I could go down an analogy about a touring car where one driver took another driver out, clipped him, and then all that, but I won't because this is an NFL podcast, not a.
Because you're a professional, and you know people don't want to hear it. I get you.
See, Indianapolis, I don't know they're very hit and miss at the moment.
Yep.
They're really good, average, or really, really bad, and they're really, really bad last week against Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas have got a bit of momentum. They've won the last couple of games on the bounce, so I'm going for Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I like what Pierce doing, and I hope they keep him on. Just give him a chance.
As a former Patriot himself, I mean, no, Giant. He was a Giant, wasn't he? Was he a Giant? Was Antonio Pierce a Patriot?
I don't know off the top of
Giant.
I don't think
Giant.
I
feel like you know he was a Patriot.
Yeah, I think he was a Giant.
Possibly.
Yeah. All right. So game number three. Everyone's favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons, taking on the Chicago Bears. So a team that has never been relevant, taking on a team that were only relevant for 1 year in the 80s.
Hey, that was our base defense. The Chicago Bear base defense was Black Knight's base defense.
Again, but it only ever won them one Super Bowl, and they were quickly found out. So, but again, Steve Mongo McMichael, WWE Hall of Famer, William Perry, the Fridge, WWE Hall of Famer. So, I mean, that 85 Bears, Mike Singletary is in the Hall of Fame, former 49ers head coach. Jim McMahon, massively underrated quarterback. But the Bears currently sit at 6-9, while the Falcons sit at 7-8. They've both had very underwhelming seasons compared to that. A lot of the analysts coming into the season were pitching the Bears as being the team of the NFC. That has not happened. Justin Fields was very, very miss, and then he went off injured. He's come back, and he's had really, really good moments, and he sucked in others. And Desmond Ridder has not been the consistent under center that I think a lot of people hoped. Kyle Pitts, who I get reminded every weekend that he actually is a player in the NFL and not a cheerleader. Gents, two underwhelming teams. Who is going to be less underwhelming in your favor? Let's go with Hendo.
So Atlanta is still picking up the bottles that they dropped in the Super Bowl when they let a 28-point lead. So I am going for Chicago. I just
suck at Atlanta.
I really think Atlanta have got two really good wide receivers. They've got a great running back. They've got a couple of. So somehow John Smith is now being relevant when he was rubbish at New England again. And Carl Pitts.
Did you say two great wide receivers?
One good wide receiver then. Sorry. Yeah, okay, I was getting carried away. So they've got a good skill call there. They've got a good secondary in Atlanta, but their head coach is their issue and their quarterback is their issue. So I'm going for Chicago to win this.
Hopi?
So I don't bang. I'm not going to say that. I know Shane really likes Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, general, yes.
I also like Justin Fields. And I think he is the best quarterback that people give him credit for. So for that reason, I am saying Chicago.
John Lewis, the Atlanta will be boosted next season when Wilson joins.
Good lad.
Yeah.
Harris.
Sorry, baby. Who do you go
I think I'm
for
going to.
again?
Chicago.
Sorry, Jake.
I think I'm going to side with our beautiful baby Hope there, as has been well documented on the show. I'm a big fan of Justin Fields, and I think Cole Kmet is severely underrated, and alongside DJ Moore as well, who he's shone a little bit. There was that Monday night game against the Commanders where he just completely balled out to pinch a phrase from the younger generation. But yeah, I'm going to go with Chicago to beat the Falcons.
Cole Kmet's done for the season, mind you.
Okay.
Is he?
Only because
Yeah.
I need to get some ground up on baby on my predictions, and he's already gone for the Bears, so I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Ooh.
Purely tactical. Now this one, the last one of our little pick, is two teams with the exact same record, two teams that have had highlights but more lowlights this season. We have the 8-7 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling all the way to Seattle, Washington to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Now, both teams are 8-7. The Steelers are 3-3 away from home, whilst the Seahawks are 5-2 at home. So if you wanted a little bit of extra leverage, the Steelers are plus or 0.500, whilst the Seahawks are 5-2 at home this season. Don't know whether or not that'll influence your decision making on this.
Well, everyone's mine.
Yeah, I'll take the chickens.
I will 1,000,000% enjoy Gino and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett just absolutely battering those terrible towel twirling people.
Sade just said, aren't the Browns playing the Jets tomorrow morning?
Yes, they are, Sade.
They are.
And I really hope the Jets win.
We will get to that in a minute.
All right.
But yeah, I want the chickens.
Yeah,
I don't want the chickens to win, but I think the chickens will win.
I think Seattle will win. My heart wants to say Pittsburgh to just go after baby, but I don't think Seattle are going to drop anything here, considering that they are still in playoff contention. I don't see Pittsburgh really doing much between now and the end of the season.
I'm going to agree with all three of you. Seattle are they finding ways to win games without winning games, if that makes sense.
It's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Sade says she thinks she'll be watching the Browns Jets.
Funny you should say that. I think I might as well.
I might catch the highlights in the morning, mate. I've just been traveling all day today and I'm really tired, so that's going to be my morning done.
You need to get a giant head down.
Oh, man, I need to get my massive head down.
There are a few games, like I said. CJ Stroud is back available for the Texans against the Titans. Obviously, we've looked at the Seahawks and Steelers. I am in MetLife for the Giants.
John has just made a very good point that if all four are picking the chickens, it'll be a Pittsburgh win.
Correct.
Anyone swear you watched the show before, John?
Nothing gets past you, does it, Lewis?
There is a potential upset in Jacksonville this weekend, I think.
I think the upset is that people are paying to watch the Jaguars play in Florida.
I have to admit, I think the biggest potential upset, actually, for me, is at Arrowhead.
I knew you'd say that.
Bengals.
Yeah.
I feel like Jake Browning.
Henderson household derby. So both my kids are Bengals and a Chiefs fan.
So that's why you're going to New York. This all makes sense now.
Yeah, straight out of the way.
Yeah, they're there with their mum. You can stay there with your mum. I'm going to be like 3,000 miles away in New York watching Puka Nakua and Kyron Williams go to
Cooper
town
Cup,
on those.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to going on that game where, Purdy's back or something like that in the bottom tier, so it's going to be really good. In the end zone as well.
I'm so jealous of you.
It's all good, baby. It's all good. So I'm really looking forward to that. Lions Cowboys Saturday night's going, or Sunday early hours, Sunday morning is going to be a really good game.
Will you be able to watch that? Will you be landed by then?
Yeah, I'll be able to watch. We'll be in London. Yeah, we'll be there. We'll find a bar to watch it somewhere.
I know when I went to San Francisco, I managed to somehow time a flight so that in 11 hours, I missed all of the Thanksgiving games.
Oh.
Yeah, we land about 2-ish, I think it is, New York time.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be able to watch that quite happily. So yeah, really good game on Sunday Night Football as well. So the Packers against the Vikings. That's going to be quite a good game. I think.
Do we know a Monday night game?
There is no Monday night. Last week was last week's Monday Night Football.
New Year's Eve, innit?
Oh, yeah.
And this week is the last week of Thursday Night Football. Every game is still to be decided of where and when they are put on, because obviously permutations and all that palaver regulation wise. There is one more Sunday Night Football as well in that week.
Sexy.
Guess I got to watch Jets and Browns tonight then.
So
who's winning? Who's winning, boys? Jets and Browns.
John has just said you'll be watching New York, watching a show, while Kelly will be watching Burrows.
Right, we'll be on a boat somewhere about that time. Yeah, we're on the Hudson watching the fireworks, mate.
Oh, you're going to propose to her, aren't you? Whoops.
Oh, you! Oh, fella! Oh.
I really hope Kelly's watching now.
And on that note, good night, guys.
Kelly, if you are watching, I apologize for the Spurs score.
Yeah, Phil's getting his P45 in the morning.
And John has said, congratulations.
Cheers, John. Confirm that is not happening this weekend.
I'm really sorry for my action in the Third Alarm podcast. I will be resigning with immediate effect. Thank you to all of my fans throughout the last 18 months, and I wish the pod nothing but the future and their best. Thank you so much.
You sound like Eddie Howe.
Most definitely.
Kelly's just come
I
out
thought he
saying,
laughed as well. Oh, okay. Phil, she saw it as well. She said thanks for that. So, boys, Jets and Browns tonight.
Yeah, just Browns tonight. Surely the Browns are going to win that. Flacco's balling, Amari Cooper's balling, Jets are pretty irrelevant. And
let's put it this way.
Go
on.
Browns can still make the playoffs. This week in football, 2023-24 season, OVH proposed to a trip to New York.
So giving the game away. So yeah, basically, if the Browns win, they are still in contention for the AFC North. If the Jets beat the Browns, the Ravens win the AFC North. So of course, I have a vested interest in this game. Hence the reason I'm staying up to watch probably the two worst offenses in football at the moment.
Really? You you literally just picked Joe Flacco for Player of the Week, and now you're saying
historically was the word I was going to finish with. Historically,
Sade said, "Will Cowboys versus Lions be a good game?" Yes.
Oh yes. If you're going to watch a game, try and watch that. That's going to be a great game.
I'm definitely going to be watching that on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm still undecided. Tonight I'm still undecided, but Saturday night definitely.
So yeah, this will be uploaded on Spotify and any of the podcast devices that you listen to tomorrow morning for 8:30. I am now away for 10 days. Well, I won't be back on the show until the Monday following the week 18. So I'll have a chat to them. These guys will be taking the reins going forward on that one. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Have a wonderful New Year's and stay safe.
Happy New Year, guys.